Remember FDIC.
WHOW planting reports are brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick, AAK Mechanical, Peterson Insurance, Longview Bank, and State Bank of Beemont.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. This week, the city of Clinton joins communities across the nation in observing National Police Week, a time dedicated to honoring the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers told the Heart Media Group the week provides an opportunity to humanize the badge through community engagement and social media features that introduce individual officers and their motivations for serving in law enforcement.
This week is Police Week. National Police Week was introduced by President Kennedy created on October 1st of 1961 and then signed into bill in 1962. And what that did was that designated May 15th of each year Peace Officer Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls, National Police Week. And so, obviously, with the 15th, I believe, is Friday, is Peace Officer Memorial Day, and so this week is National Police Week, and we just take a moment to kind of highlight or spotlight the officers that make up the Clinton Police Department, and it's kind of unique. I've seen it with other agencies, and kind of humanizing the badge, and not only introducing them and their contributions to the Clinton Police Department, but also a little bit about themselves. Some of them have filled out a little questionnaire as to what prompted them to get into law enforcement and their interests in law enforcement, and just a little bit about themselves. Like I said, humanizing the badge. So we started that last year, and it went over real well. So we'll go ahead and repeat that again this year. Sure.
In 2025, there were 115 line-of-duty deaths across the United States, including 2 officers in Illinois. Chief Lowers notes 2026 has already seen 38 line-of-duty deaths nationwide, highlighting the ongoing Below 100 initiative aimed at reducing annual officer fatalities to double digits through enhanced safety and training.
2025 statistics from the Officer Down Memorial page. Last year, there was 115 line-of-duty deaths nationwide. 46 by gunfire and 34 by automobile accidents are the two biggest causes of officer deaths. In Illinois, we lost 2 officers in the line of duty, and that was Detective Tim Jones from the Park Forest Police Department and Officer Crystal Rivera of the Chicago Police Department, both killed by gunfire in the line of duty. Already in 2026, we've had 38 line of duty deaths nationwide. And, beginning back, 20 years ago, we began the Below 100 initiative, trying to get those line of duty deaths below 100. There's a police officer killed in the United States every 58 hours, and that's entirely too many. The average of 272 over the last 10 years. And the first line of duty death was noted in 1791, and there's now been over 26,000 line of duty deaths in our history.
Residents are encouraged to visit the Emergency Services Memorial at Downey Park in Clinton, dedicated in 2010 through the efforts of the late Police Chief Mike Reedy and late Fire Chief Jeff Pearl. The memorial features bricks honoring those who have served the Clinton community in all facets of emergency service. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hey everyone, Paul Scarron here, CEO of Warner Hospital. Spring in Central Illinois is beautiful, unless allergies are slowing you down. If you're dealing with sneezing, congestion, itchy eyes, or sinus pressure, our experienced providers at Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton are here to help. We offer fast, personalized treatment to get you breathing easier and feeling better. Don't let allergies take over your spring. Call or visit us today. Warner Hospital and Health Services, quality care right here, right now.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. The high school baseball postseason pairings were released on Wednesday afternoon by the IHSA office. Clinton and Monticello will each host a regional in Class 2A. The Maroons drew a 4 seed and will take on 6th-seeded Shelbyville in a regional semifinal on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. Maroa Forsyth is the top seed in the Monticello subsectional and was assigned to the Clinton regional. The Trojans take on the winner of a quarterfinal matchup between Olympia and Bloomington Cornerstone Christian Academy on Wednesday, May 27th. The Clinton Regional Championship is on Saturday, May 30th at 1 p.m. In the Monticello Regional, Tolono Unity is the 2 seed and takes on the winner of Champaign St. Thomas More and Georgetown Ridge Farm in the quarterfinal matchup. The Sages will battle Westville in a regional semifinal on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. The regional championship is at 11 a.m. on Saturday, May 30th. In other Class 2A regional pairings at the Pana Regional, the 10th-seeded Buffalo Tri-City will play at the 7th-seeded Bloomington Central Catholic. The winner of that game will play the 2-seed Tri-Valley. On Thursday, May 28th, 3rd-seeded Warrensburg-Latham will take on the 5th-seed Pana at 4:30. At the Bismarck-Henning Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the winner of 9th-seeded Sullivan versus 8th-seeded Marshall will play 1-seeded St. Joseph Ogden at 3 p.m. In Class 1A, Mount Pulaski earned the top seed in its subsectional and will also host a regional. The Hilltoppers will play the winner of a regional quarterfinal game between Ridgeview and Blue Ridge on Wednesday, May 27th at 4:30 p.m. The other regional semifinal matchup in the Mount Pulaski Regional is Heyworth against Springfield Lutheran on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. The Mount Pulaski Regional Championship is Saturday, May 30th at 11 a.m., with the winner advancing to the Illinois Wesleyan Sectional the following week. In Class 1A regional pairings at the Tremont Regional, the winner of 9th-seeded Peoria Heights versus 8th-seeded Delavan will take on the 1-seed Tremont at 4:30 p.m. On Thursday, May 28th, 4th-seeded DMAC will play the 5th-seed Fieldcrest at 4:30 p.m. At the Leroy Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the winner of 10th-seeded Decatur Unity Christian versus 7th-seeded Athens will take on the 2-seed Argenta Oriena at 4:30 p.m. And on Thursday, May 28th, 3-seed Decatur St. Teresa takes on the 6th-seed Leroy at 4:30 p.m. At the Gibson City Melvin Sibley Regional on Thursday, May 28th, the winner of the 11th-seeded Danville Schlarman at 6th-seeded Iroquois West will play the 4th-seeded GCMS at 4:30 p.m. In Class 3A regional pairings at the Metamora Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, 1-seed Metamora versus the 8th-seed Kankakee at 4:30 p.m., while the 4th-seeded Ottawa takes on 5th-seeded LaSalle Peru at 7 p.m. At the Galesburg Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the 2-seed East Peoria plays 7th-seeded Galesburg at 4:30, and the 6th-seeded Limestone will play the 3rd-seed Washington at 7. At the Dunlap Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, top-seeded Dunlap will play the winner of the 9th-seeded Peoria at 8th-seeded Peoria Notre Dame at 4:30 p.m., and the 4th-seeded Morton will take on 5th-seed Geneseo at 6:30 p.m. At the Normal U High Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, top-seeded Normal U High plays 8th seed Urbana at 4:30, while the 4th-seeded Rantoul takes on 5th-seeded Bloomington High School at 7 p.m. At the Lincoln Regional on May 27th, 2-seeded Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin played 7th-seeded Springfield Southeast at 4 p.m. And then on Thursday, May 28th at the Lincoln Regional, 4th-seeded Lincoln takes on the 6th-seeded Springfield High School at 4 p.m. At the Champaign Central Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, 2-seeded Champaign Central will play the 7th-seed Danville at 4 p.m., while the 3rd-seeded Normal West takes on 6th-seed Champaign Centennial at 6:30 p.m. At the Chatham-Glenwood Regional on May 27th, top-seeded Chatham-Glenwood plays 8th-seed Springfield Lanifer at 4:30, and then the 3rd-seeded Mahomet Seymour will play the 5th-seed Mount Zion at 7 p.m. In Class 4A regional pairings at the Moline Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the winner of the 9th-seeded Rock Island at 8th-seeded Plainfield South will take on the 1-seed Normal Community at 4:30 p.m. Avery Smith and Hadley Humble led an offensive onslaught as Clinton rolled Shelbyville 13-1 in a Central Illinois Conference win on Wednesday in high school girls softball action from Shelbyville. The Lady Maroons exploded for 6 runs in each of the 6th and 7th innings. Smith was 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, while Humble was 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. Lady Nichols also doubled in the win. Riley Fentress was 1 for 2 with 3 walks and an RBI and 3 runs scored for Clinton. Sickles, Campbell Bass, Annalise Thompson, and Olivia Haynes each drove in runs. Haynes twirled 7 innings of 1-run ball for the Lady Maroons. The senior permitted 7 hits and a walk while striking out 3. Clinton is 7-18 overall and 4-5 in the CIC. They visit Central A&M on Thursday. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, Forrest Rodden fired 6 innings of 2-run ball as the Monticello offense scored early and often to get by Clinton 7-2 in non-conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Monticello. Rodden allowed 2 unearned runs while allowing 4 hits, a walk, and striking out 6. The Sages scored 3 runs in the first inning, highlighted by run-scoring hits from Cole Basak and Hayden Romano. Jake Robinson hit into a run-scoring fielder's choice. Grant Kiger scored 2 with a base hit in the second inning to up the Sages' lead to 5-0. Zeke Young belted a run-scoring triple in the third, and Dawson Gatros followed with a run-scoring hit to cap the Sages' scoring and make it 7-0. The Maroons were led by Mitchell Cornwell, who was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Stone Stith was 2 for 4 with a double. Jackson Reynolds, Xavier Reynolds, and Josh Bass had hits for Clinton. Cole Fentress fired 3 innings of shutout relief with 4 strikeouts while permitting 3 hits and 2 walks. Clinton drops to 16-12 overall. They host Meridian on Friday. Monticello goes to 27-2 overall. They visit Champaign Central on Friday. Luke Martin struck out 11 across 6 innings of 3-run ball. Jaden Jackson had 3 hits as Mount Pulaski outlasted Havana 5-3 in non-conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Havana. Martin struck out 11 to just 1 walk and 6 hits. The Hilltoppers cleaned up the defense, committing just 1 error. Jackson was 3 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. After Aaron Voley doubled in the first run of the game for the Hilltoppers in the first, Jackson singled in Voley to make it 2-0. A 2-base, 2-run error for Martin made it 4-1 Hilltoppers in the second. The Ducks cut the deficit to 4-3 in the third, but Jackson's double in the 5th inning scored Martin to make it 5-3 Mount Pulaski. Chase Roberts was 2 for 3 with a double for the Hilltoppers. Voley finished 1 for 4 with an RBI and a double. Mount Pulaski goes to 17-8 overall. They host El Paso Gridley on Thursday. Dawson Waterhouse singled in Trenton Bridges, and Warrensburg-Latham walked off Williamsville 2-1 on Wednesday in non-conference high school baseball action in Warrensburg. Trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the sixth, Nathan Southern scored Waterhouse on a ground out to even the score at 1-1. Bridges singled to start the seventh inning and was sacrificed to second. Camden Otten was intentionally walked before Waterhouse singled to left to bring home the game-winning run. Kason Reynolds pitched into the sixth inning and struck out 10. His only run allowed was unearned in the first inning. Reynolds also finished 2 for 3 at the plate. The Cardinals go to 16-6 overall. They host Shelbyville in Central Illinois Conference action on Friday. An 8-run third inning propelled Heyworth to a 13-2 win over Bloomington Cornerstone Christian Academy on Wednesday in non-conference high school baseball action in Bloomington. Ridge Braden was 1 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs to lead the Hornets. Braden Leish, Caleb Zellers, and Braxton Denning each finished with 2 RBIs. Leish had 2 stolen bases. Heyworth goes to 11-12. They host Olympia on Thursday. Mason Aislinger allowed an unearned run in a complete game win, leading Normal West past Peoria Notre Dame 7-1 in Big 12 Conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Normal. Sam McCulley and Ty Backman went deep, backing Aislinger's complete game. Aislinger struck out 7, walked none, and permitted 7 hits. Backman hit a 2-run shot in the first inning to stake the Wildcats to a 2-0 lead. 2 batters later, McCulley went deep to make it 3-0. Kalen Ritter was 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI for Normal West, while Drake Rumps hit a double. The Wildcats are 19-11 overall and 11-5 in the Big 12. They host Peoria Richwoods on Friday. Sophomore Creston Schultz went the distance in a 5-0 shutout effort of Lincoln on Wednesday in non-conference high school baseball action from Lincoln. Schultz struck out 5, walked 1, and allowed 3 hits. Owen Comstock was 2 for 3 for the Railers. Bryce Vlakovich had the other hit for Lincoln. Lincoln goes to 18-9 overall. They travel to North Mac on Friday. Carissa Cook homered, leading a Heyworth power surge in an 11-4 win over Decatur St. Teresa on Wednesday afternoon in non-conference high school softball from Decatur. Cook was 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs for the Lady Hornets, who pounded out 6 extra base hits in the contest. Natalie Kopp doubled twice and drove in 3 runs, finishing 3 for 4. Lauren Streens, Haley Rogers, and Ilya Riddle added doubles for Heyworth. Kopp overcame 5 errors and 6 walks in circle to fight through 7 complete innings. She struck out 8 and permitted 4 hits. Heyworth goes to 17-11 overall. They visit Champaign St. Thomas More on Thursday. Monticello fell behind 6-0, but a late rally comeback bid fell short as Mattoon escaped with a 6-5 win on Wednesday in non-conference high school softball action in Monticello. Back-to-back runs scoring passed balls in the 4th inning allowed the Lady Sages to get within 6-2. Cassidy Stoffel reached on a run-scoring error an inning later to cut it to 6-3. In the 7th, trailing 6-3, Annie Robinson started the inning with a triple. Meadow Miller followed with an RBI double to cut the deficit to 6-4. Sadie Walsh singled home Miller to clear the bases and make it 6-5. Down to its last out, Stoffel would single, but Isabella Beery hit a comebacker to the Mattoon pitcher to end the rally and the game. In addition to Robinson's triple and Miller's double, Allie Widener hit a double for Monticello. The Lady Sages go to 21-9 overall. They finish out the regular season on Friday, hosting Arthur Christian before going to regional action next week at Bloomington Central Catholic High School. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. It's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet